For this lesson, we are going to focus on two measures of center. We've already focused on mean, so this measures of center lecture is going to cover median and mode. Sometimes, the mean is not an appropriate measure of center to use. Consider the following monthly salaries at a grocery store. $6,400, $3,200, $3,100, and then the rest of these are under $3,000. If I were to find the mean of these 6 or 7 salaries, I would get an average monthly salary of $3,200. Well, the mean is supposed to be a measure of center. It's supposed to describe the middle value, like what you could expect to be around, maybe a little bit below or maybe a little bit above, but you would expect to get that much. Well, if you look at this mean, this is nowhere near the middle of these salaries. And the reason is because these salaries include everyone's salary, including the manager. Now, the manager is going to make, obviously, more than someone who's not the manager. Someone who works at the register or stocking shelves may earn less than the manager. So it's not necessarily appropriate to describe the center of this set of data using the mean. So we may use the median. Now, the median of a data set is the middle value when the data are arranged in order from least to greatest. So I have rewritten those data values. The lowest value is at the top this time, and the greatest value is at the bottom. And the middle value, because there are 7 of them, there is a middle salary. That $2,600 is the median salary. So we could say, if you were sitting in an interview, you may ask, well, what's the average salary? Now, average tends to mean the mean, but average could also imply center. So what would the median salary be? That would be an appropriate question rather than saying average, right? What could you expect to make after maybe working at this place for a year or so? Well, the median salary is $2,600. That is much more appropriate than the mean salary was. So let's try to do this one on our own. Find the median price of the following computer games. Here they are listed, $78, $80, $56, $64, $72, and $69. Well, first, to find the median, I have to arrange all of the costs from least to greatest. So I have done that here. But you'll notice there are 6 prices. So how do I find the middle price if there's not a middle value? Well, if there's an odd number of data values, then there will always be one middle value. There are 3 at the bottom, 3 at the top, and 1 in the middle here. But when we have an even number of data values, there's going to be nothing right in the middle. So what we have to do is take our 2 middle values and find the mean of them. So here, 69 plus 72 is divided by 2 is going to be 70.5. And if we're talking about the price of computer games, it's important to really know what it is you're working with. 70.5 is not an appropriate answer, but $70.50 is. That would be the median price. Now, mode. The mode of a set of data is the value that occurs the most often. So, here are 3 quizzes. Quiz A, Quiz B, and Quiz C. And just so you don't get confused, these aren't scores that are all 10 and below. They're out of number of questions that are correct out of 10. Okay? So here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So for each of these quizzes, there are 7 grades. And so what is the mode for Quiz A? Well, the mode is the value that occurs the most often. So as I look in A, I've got a 5. I don't see any other 5s, 9s, but I see 2 7s. Does any other value occur 2 times? No. So 7 occurs the most, so the mode for Quiz A is 7. Okay, it's that simple. Just an identification. How about Quiz B? I see 0, 1, 2, 3 times. I see 4, 1, 2, 3 times, and then I see 8 once. it is possible for there to be more than one mode. We call this bimodal, meaning two modes. So 8 and, oops, not 8, my fault. 4 and 0. And again, we call this bimodal, two modes. You can have infinite numbers of modes as long as there's something that, as long as there's always one data point that occurs fewer times than all of the other modes. So here's an example of one that doesn't have a mode. Because 1 occurs once, 6 occurs once, 8 occurs once, 10 occurs once, 5 occurs once, 2 occurs once, and 9 occurs once. They all occur the same number of times. They all occur once, so there's no mode. Okay? And it's possible for there to be no mode because there's nothing that occurs more than anything else. Consider this set of data. What if there were scores that were 2, 2, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8. Now 2 occurs twice, 6 occurs twice, 7 occurs twice, and 8 occurs twice. Because every data point occurs the same number of times, there would be no mode here. But let's say I had 2, 2, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, and 9. Now, there are 4 modes because 2 occurs twice, 6 occurs twice, 7 occurs twice, 8 occurs twice, but 9 only occurs once. So the values that occur the most are 2, 6, 7, and 8 because they all occur more than 9. Okay? So let's have a look at this scenario, shall we? The daily temperatures in degrees Celsius for 11 days in Juneau, Alaska are listed here. -2.5, -1, 1.2, 0, etc. We are asked to do 3 things. Find the mode, find the median, and find the mean. I am your friend, so I have done some of this work for you. Now, you know what? To find the mode, you don't have to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. But if you can see them in order from least to greatest, you can see something occurring more than once very easily. Here, these are not in order, and it's hard to tell if you've got -1 more than once, or +1, or -2.5 more than once, or if it's +2.5 because you've got all these decimal points and digits and commas and negative signs. It's really hard to tell. But if you put them in order from least to greatest, you can see if something occurs more than once very quickly. So I'm actually going to use my median work, which is the numbers put in order from least to greatest from the most negative, zeros right here, to the most positive. And I can see that -2.5 degrees Celsius occurs 3 times. Nothing else occurs 3 times. And so the mode is -2 5/10 degrees Celsius. Okay? But the median now, I'm going to find the middle value here. And there are 11 days, so that means there will be 5 above, 5 below, and the 1 right in the middle because it's an odd number. And so if I go 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, that should be the middle. Let me make sure there are 5 below. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So -1 2/10 degrees Celsius is the median temperature. And then the mean temperature. How do I find the mean? Well, I find the sum of all of these. The sum is -15 4/10. Divide by the number of days of temperatures we have, which is 11. And that is -1 4/10 degrees Celsius. So they're all relatively close. I mean, which measure of center is the most appropriate to describe the 11 days of data? I guess it depends on what you think. Generally, we tend to describe temperatures by the average, so we would probably use -1 4/10. But you can see that quite a few of these days were significantly colder. I mean, degrees Celsius, a little bit different than Fahrenheit. And we might not think that there's much of a difference between -1 degrees Fahrenheit, -2 degrees Fahrenheit. But it means a little bit more in Celsius. So this may be a bit extreme. I like that the middle value is -1 2/10. It was never recorded at -1 4/10, but it can still be used as the average temperature because this is a little bit lower than the median. It helps you to understand that these heavy values kind of pull that average down just a touch. So I think it's up to you. What one you decide is most appropriate, just as long as you can justify your thoughts. There we go.